In this video, you will learn how to find the least common multiple. Now first we need to understand what a multiple means. So here, first we're trying to find the multiples of 3. What that means is we take the number 3 and we multiply it by different integers. So we start with number 1, so 3 times 1, and then that gives me 3. Multiply by 2 to get 6, and then by 3 to get 9, and then 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, etc. So multiples of 3 would be all these numbers here in the box. Okay, 3, 6, 9, 12, etc. If we do the same thing with multiples of 4, 4 times 1 is 4, times 2 is 8, 4 times 3 is 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, etc. Those are all multiples of 4 because we're multiplying by numbers to get that new number. Alright, so then we can determine common multiples. We see they both have 12 in common, they both have 24 in common, and that would continue on for infinity. Alright, so those are all common multiples. Now, least common multiple is the smallest multiple they have in common. So the smallest one they have in common would be 12. So the definition of least common multiple is the smallest number that is a multiple of each of the given numbers. So to find the least common multiple, here we have 8 and 10. So we can list multiples like we did in the last slide to find the least common multiple of 8 and 10. So looking at 8, we'd have 8 times 1 is 8, 8 times 2 is 16, 24, 32, 40, etc. Those are all multiples of 8. Multiples of 10 would be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, etc. So notice the least common multiple, the smallest one they both have in common, would be 40. So therefore the least common multiple, or LCM, would equal 40. Now we don't want to have to list all the multiples every time because that's going to be very tedious, especially when you have large numbers. Okay, so we want a quicker way to be able to do this. So the way to do this is we take the 8 and the 10 and we find the prime factorization of each of those. So 8 would be 2 times 4, 4 is 2 times 2, so 8 would be 2 times 2 times 2. 10 can break down just as 2 times 5, and that's it. Alright, so now that we've prime factorized both numbers, what we do from here is we see what factors do we have present. Well, we have 2's and 5's. So to find the least common multiple, I take all the 2's from the number that has the most. So looking at the 2's, 8 has the most, and it has 3 of them. So I take all of those 2's from the 8. And then we do the same thing with the other factor, which was 5. We take all the 5's from the one that has the most. Well, the only one with 5's is 10. 10 has the most with one of them. So we take that 5 as well. Multiply those numbers together, and we find our LCM to be 40. Notice that is the correct answer because that is the same thing we got when we listed them out up here. Alright, here's another example where we are going to calculate by using the prime factorization method. So 4, 6, and 15. 4 can break down as 2 times 2, 6 is 2 times 3, and 15 is 3 times 5. So to find the least common multiple of all 3 of these, I see what factors are present. So we have 2's, 3's, and 5's. So looking at the 2's, take all the 2's from the one that has the most of them. Well, 4 has the most 2's, and it has 2 of them, so we take all of those 2's. So we have 2 times 2. Do the same thing with the 3's. See which one has the most. Well, it's a tie. 6 and 15 both have 1, so it doesn't matter which one we take, but the most is 1. So we take 1, 3. And then with the 5's, we see that 15 has the most 5s with one of them. So we take all the 5s, which is just the 1. So we have now 2 times 2 times 3 times the 5. Multiply those together, and my answer is going to be 60. And we can confirm that if we wanted to by listing all the multiples out of 4, 6, and 15, and would find that that is the smallest one that they have in common.